Hi, everyone. We were just waiting for everyone to join, but it looks like we're all here now. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Annie. I'm the project manager for Net Zero Now. I work for Cambridge Carbon Footprint. And yeah, this evening, this short session is just an opportunity to show you what the Net Zero Now training program is all about, and give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. So I'll jump straight in and just share a couple of slides that outline the program. So who is this program for? It's basically any resident in South Cambridgeshire that's interested in community climate action. So if you live or work in South Cambridgeshire, you're part of a local community, or you would like to become more involved in your local community and take action on climate change, then this training is for you. What do we support through the program? It could be bringing environmental action to existing activities or networks. So, for example, if you are part of a parish council, or if you run a community group, if you, for example, run a club or scouting group, or any existing activities or network, and you would like to take action on climate change, this training could be relevant to you. Or if you are already part of an environmental group or an activity, and you would just like to know more about climate change in particular, and how you can take more effective action. Or maybe you're interested in setting up a new group, something like a community energy project. So if you are interested to start a new project up in your local community, then this program might be right for you. How do we deliver the program? What does it consist of? It's the main part of it is delivered in 8 interactive sessions. Those will be delivered in, they're going to be 2 hours long in the evening, weekday evening, and delivered via Zoom. In between those interactive sessions, we're going to offer reading and ask you to do other activities and stay in touch with you through a online tool. So this is what it roughly looks like. We've got 4 sessions in the early summer, and then we've got 4 sessions after a summer break. So from 9th of June, we're going to run 4 sessions that are generally around climate change and behavior change generally. So the first session will be an introduction to climate change and how and why we can reduce our carbon emissions. Then the second session will be looking a bit more into details around finding solutions, especially in a community context. The third session will be then more around behavior change. So how do we get people to actually change their habits? And because we all know that some habits are emitting more carbon than others. So how do we get people to change? How do we interact with people to get change done? And then the 4th session is around communicating. So when we talk to our networks who might not necessarily already be very aware around the topic of climate change, what are the tools that we can use? What's the language that we can use around communicating climate change? So those are the 4 more general topics to introduce and give you the background knowledge. And then the second half of the course will focus more on helping you shape your community project or your activity in your network, in your local community. So we'll be doing activities around shaping your ideas, finding out what could work in your local communities, then moving from idea to action. So what are the steps that you need to do to get from an idea you would like to do this to getting it actually done? So drafting a action plan and that sort of thing. Then picking up what we've learned in the first half of the course, giving you a bit more tools around communicating, maybe around social media, around speaking, about leading meetings and that sort of thing. So if you haven't had a lot of experience in that sort of area, we can pick that up. And the last one is the wrap up. So putting everything that you've learned in the course into action. So as you can see, the second half is very much it's going to be very much focused on you, what the participants need to learn, what do they feed back to us, what do they need, what are the skills that they think they need to take away from this course. So during the first half, we would like to find out what are your organizations, your networks, your communities' strengths and weaknesses, and then we are going to try to really work with that throughout the second half of this course. So it doesn't matter whether you already know a lot about climate change or are already very active. What is the most important thing for this training program is that you're motivated, you want to make change happen, and you want to make change happen in your local community. So anyone who's interested in these topics is very welcome to apply. And that was the really brief overview, and I was hoping that you have questions and we could run through those. Thank you.
So there are no questions yet, Annie. I've been watching the chat, but if anyone does have any questions, please do pop them in the chat now. But I'll throw one to you, Annie. What do people need to do to apply?
So we've got the link open. I should be able to, yeah, put that in there. So this is the link to our website. And if you follow this link, most of you will probably have seen it. It gives you basically a similar overview to what I've just shown you. And there's an apply button there, and it takes you to an online form. And we will ask you a series of questions. It will take, I would say, between 15 and 30 minutes to reply, depending on whether, how much you would like to, and to how much detail you would like to go in your replies. And you just fill in the online form and register your interest that way. And then after the deadline, we're going to select the participants.
Okay, so we've got a couple of people asking, can you participate on the course if the community group is in the city? So Trumpington was one example, the Trumpington ward.
This program really focuses on residents and communities in South Cambridgeshire. However, what I would do is I would like to encourage you to apply anyways if you're not quite sure, just because if in the unlikely event that we don't get enough applicants from within South Cambridgeshire, we might open it out to other people that have links with South Cambridgeshire. And even if you're not selected for the training course, we might be able to offer you something else in the future, or like to invite you to other events. So it's definitely worth having a look at the application and maybe filling it in, even if you're not in South Cambridgeshire.
Okay, so we have a question from Christine Ward. Who will be giving each of the sessions?
So it will be mainly our team from Cambridge Carbon Footprint, but we're going to invite guest speakers to speak within the sessions.
And with the delivery, will it all be delivered online?
Yes, so the plan is at the moment to stay COVID safe and do all the training online. So the 8 main sessions that we've scheduled in are obviously all Zoom sessions. What we're hoping to do is that we might be able to put on some social events around the training once it is safe to do so. But we will have to see when and if that's possible. We're very much hoping to put on at least one social that we can that the participants can actually meet each other in the flesh. So fingers crossed.
And we've got a question from Kate Hawkswell. How many people do you want on the course?
So we're looking for probably around 15 participants. And we are hoping to, because this course is not only about learning around the topics of climate change and community action, but also around meeting other people around South Cambs that also want to take action. And we are very much hoping that with this training, we're laying a foundation of learning from each other and creating a network of community action. So we are looking for individuals that are spread out across the district and maybe also come from different backgrounds so that we can really learn from each other and really spread the action as far as we can.
So we've got a couple of questions about whether participants need to attend all of the sessions. So for example, could someone attend the first 4 but not the second 4, or vice versa, or whether people need to attend all of the sessions?
The easy answer is yes, we would really like you to attend all of them, because the one of the main outcomes is that we really want to enable you to take action and really start doing something in your local community. And even if you've attended the first half of the training, that doesn't necessarily mean that you then can go away and really deliver your project or deliver your campaign or whatever it is you would like to do. So that is what the second half of the program is all about. It's really two sides of a coin, and it will be most beneficial for participants to attend both halves of the course. And the other way around, some people might feel that they don't need to attend the first session because they are already quite aware, but then this training might not be the perfect fit for you, because this is really something to empower people that might not feel very comfortable with climate change so far, and really want to learn. So I think the best learning outcome will be if people attend both halves of the course.
And is there a cost to attending?
No, it's free. We are very lucky that we've got the South Cambridgeshire. Okay, help me out. What is the fund called, Alana?
The Zero Carbon Communities Fund.
The Zero Carbon Community Fund, that we got funding for that to cover the costs. So this is free for South. That's why it also focuses on South Cambridgeshire residents, because it's funded by the district.
Let me I'm just having a look. There's been quite a few questions in the chat. So would there be any tasks to complete off training hours, or will the training sort of cover everything already?
So if we go back And, so we've got the 8 interactive sessions, which are 2 hours, 2-hour Zoom meetings in the evenings. But in between those Zoom meetings, we expect participants to undertake certain activities. So, for example, one of the things that we're going to ask you to do is calculate your carbon footprints and get someone else to calculate their carbon footprint. So it's going to be like small homeworky sort of things. And also we're going to encourage you to read articles or watch short films or something like that. Roughly it will be between 1 and 3 hours. So every 2 weeks, spread over the 2 weeks in between the sessions, roughly going to be between 1 and 3 hours, depending on how much you want to do and how long it takes you. But it's but yeah, so there are going to be activities in between the Zoom calls, and then afterwards we're very much hoping that you are going away from the course with a really good action plan, an idea, a very good formulated idea and plan to implement in your community. So you might already start to work with your local community during the second half of the course, and then carry stuff that you pick up during the course out into your community and apply it there.
So you may just have answered the next question that I'm going to ask you, but you might want to add something. So Valerie Hurst asks, their parish has an action plan, and they're intending to apply for a South Cam Zero Carbon Communities grant for a website, which might be useful for all villages. So she's asking how the Net Zero Now training might help with that. I mean, I guess there's a general question there, which is, how this project will help a kind of parish like that, and specifically for them, I guess, maybe with that example.
I think that's that could be a good example for the sort of project or initiatives that we are trying to support with this, because on the one hand, to create a website and effective communication from your parish council, you will need the sort of background knowledge that we'll provide through the course, and we can then help you in the second half of the course to take the steps that are necessary to actually build up the website. So, for example, one of the topics that we're going to offer in the second half is, for example, fundraising. So it might be that we put you in touch with the right funding opportunity. So if that is South Cams, then that might be the case. So I think it would be something that would be interesting for this course. Yes.
And Kate Hawkswell has asked us, what are the criteria for selection?
So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to try to get a really broad group of people. So the most important thing that we are looking for is motivation, that you really want to take action in your community, and we are hoping to get a couple of people that are already very engaged in their community, but you don't have to be. So we're hoping to get a good mix of people, some people that are really engaged in their community, some people that might have not been that engaged in their community, but maybe have some useful knowledge to share. So I would encourage you to apply and just be honest around your motivation. I think that is the most important thing.
And so will the sessions be available online for people? This is from Michael Chu. He asks, will the sessions be available online for people that are not selected for the course?
We will be trying to share as much of the training course online as we can. So what we're hoping to do is that a lot of the resources that we will be providing will be available openly on our website, but then everything that is actually created within the course through the participants or in the discussions, that is confidential within the just for the participants of the course. But all the background reading and I guess most of the training material that we'll offer, we're hoping to make available to everyone.
So I think that's it for most of the questions that we had in the chat. Well, there was a couple of questions. Firstly, someone was asking about whether we could do a recap. They had trouble starting the session. I will just say that the tonight's session will be uploaded as a video onto the Net Zero Now web page in the coming days, so you'll be able to flip back through this video and review it. So that was the link that Annie gave earlier. I'll put it again in the chat now. And there was a question about green homes grants or other grants in place of that. This I mean, I can possibly answer this. This is not going to be specific, and at the moment there aren't that many grants available, but CCF in general will have information on that, and that will be made available to participants, if it's relevant. But if you're particularly interested in sort of green homes projects or grants and that sort of thing, you might want to take a look at our other project, Open Eco Homes, which will certainly be putting out information on anything if and when it becomes available. We've had another question come in. Have you considered offering this to higher education students?
The short answer is yes. This course is open to everyone. So if students want to sign up, they are very welcome to. I would actually say it would be nice to have higher education students on the course as well, because it adds, I'm sure it will add, yeah, I don't see a reason why we would exclude students.
And there's some disappointment in the chat. People sad that it is for South Cambs funds, South Cambs residents, or people who, if they live outside of South Cambs but are working to benefit South Cambs. So if the community groups that you're involved in, for example, are in South Cambs, then we would certainly consider that. Someone has pointed out that it is a South Cambs funded project, and that is where the restrictions come from. I can say that we are looking to run it again in the city, in the not too distant future. So even if you aren't in South Cambs, do keep an eye on Net Zero Now, because we are looking to offer it, in the city at some point in time. Because we're as keen as you are to be able to kind of spread this, and we really want to kind of build this into a network, not just in South Cambs, but South Cambs and City. Obviously, the two communities work quite closely together, and they're very much interlinked. So, Alison Carter asks, can you say a bit more about what Net Zero Now is? This is a great question.
So Net Zero Now is the name of the program, and that the name is basically it's trying to enable communities to get to net zero, to be part of the solution, to get us to net zero. That's where the Net Zero Now comes from, and it. So when we speak about Net Zero Now, it's basically the scheme, the program, providing training to community groups or to people to individuals who are interested to deliver action in their communities. so the training and the network that the training is creating, that together is Net Zero Now.
In a nutshell. Very nice, thank you. So we've got just a couple more minutes, before the end. Please, if you've got any further questions, do put them in the chat. But in the meantime, I will open it out to people and say, we have a question for you. Is there anything else which you need to know in order to be able to apply for the course? Or any kind of qualms you have about getting involved, we would really like to know and to answer your questions, and if there are any issues to kind of work through them. So pop them in the chat if there is anything at all. We've had another really good question from Kate Hawkswell. Is there a closing date for applications?
Yes, closing date is the 9th of May.
Great. So another question. What do you think in this year would be the best idea to promote to our parishioners? Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I mean, I have to do the typical, I think I have to resort to the typical reply. It really depends on where you are and what your local context is. I mean, what I can very much encourage you to do is, or what you can encourage people to do is calculate their carbon footprint. We've got a really great tool on our website, on the CCF website. Maybe Alana can copy the link and ping it in the chat, where we've got our own carbon footprint calculator. And it only takes 10 minutes to input the data, and you get a really good overview of where your personal carbon emissions come from. And I think that would be a really good first step to get your parish involved, to get your network involved and start thinking about this. And then once you start talking about your results in the parish, you might be able to see a trend. Maybe a lot of people have very high emissions from transport, and then that might be something that you should tackle, or maybe a lot of, or maybe around housing, and home energy costs. So I think the very first thing that you should encourage people to do is calculate their carbon footprint.
So someone in the chat has just asked if there's if people who are interested but not in South Cambs, is there any way of staying in touch? I would just say there's a form on the Net Zero Now page. Just fill that in and let us know that you're interested, and we'll pop you down and we'll be in touch. So just pop us an email or send an email to nzn netzeronow@cambridgecarbonfootprint.org, and we will give you an update when there is anything to know about the course, including if and when we run it in this. So I think it's 7:30 now, and I think we have probably gotten to the bottom of the questions as well. So Annie, I'll hand over to you if there's anything further you'd like to say before we ring off.
No, thank you very much, everyone, for your interest. And as I said earlier, I can only encourage you to apply, see how it goes, and at the very least, we'll be in touch and let you know if there's any other training or other opportunities to get involved. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thanks to Alana and Annie. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks.
Most welcome. We're looking forward to seeing your applications.